Hey guys, this is Night Kunoichi. So, I originally was trying to, write something out to do this video, but I decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna wing it. Because I do what I want. I wanted to discuss a topic that I'm sure all of you are familiar with. I've seen videos and excerpts of it scattered across the internet like gold coins and Mario, but I thought I'd add one more coin to the collection. I'm going to discuss the Mary Sue or Gary Stew. Mary Sue being the more common one. I've noticed there seems to be a lot of confusion about what actually defines a Mary Sue. I actually, I'm pretty confused myself or at least I was confused as to its definition. But it used to be pretty simple. That year ago, I would have been able to answer confidently a Mary Sue is an original character crafted usually by beginner authors and written into a fandom. They are normally riddled with cliches and are unbelievably talented, beautiful, and can conquer whatever they set out to do. In short, they're characters that are too perfect. I don't think that definition is accurate anymore. For starters, I have actually met a small handful of people in real life who my first thought upon meeting them was like, you can't be human. How? You are attractive, you're smart, you're talented, and you're actually nice? What? Are you are you like an alien in disguise or something? What the fuck is this? But granted, they're not very common, but I have come across a few. And but another thing that makes me think that this definition is no longer accurate is I pretty much believe that the term Mary Sue slash Gary Stew has been used and abused and driven into the ground. I have seen people leave reviews as soon as they see an original character of any kind, they throw the term Mary Sue at it. Because apparently now, if there's any kind of OC put into a fandom or makes any kind of contact with the main characters, they are automatically a Mary Sue, which I think is ridiculous because if you're going to write for fandom and you want to make an original character, that if you're not allowed to interact with the characters that you love in there, like have your character interact with their characters or whatever, that kind of takes out the fun of it or whatever. What's the point of writing it? You can write a believable and convincing character and very well-rounded character while still interacting with the main cast. This also is thrown at self-inserts. Now, granted, most Mary Sues seem to be born of a lot of self-inserts. The author will, basically write themselves into a fandom, but they'll throw on all these different attributes that all of them positive. And I've also noticed, as a ditch effort to make their character more believable, they slap on a tragic backstory, something traumatic or whatever, and it only affects them conveniently in the story whenever they need something to happen or need to use it as a tool. And because of this, I've also seen if any character has any kind of sad backstory whatsoever, or original character that is, people throw the term Mary Sue at it. This actually has become something frustrating for me to see because there are really good original characters out there, and I've come across some excellent self inserts in fan fiction. The first one that comes to mind is something called Dreaming of Sunshine. It's a Naruto self insert, and the person, I think she did a really good job writing it. I ended up staying up till like 7 in the morning reading it. It wasn't on purpose. I just looked up and I'm like, oh, holy shit, I need to go to bed. But anyway, and this also means that if anybody has any kind of unique trait, uh, again, the term Mary Sue is slapped on it. There is nothing wrong with trying to give your character a special trait. Some people do have special traits, but there are some people who take it too far. But it is not accurate to slap that kind of label onto any original character or self insert you come across. I think I think some people use the term Mary Sue as a short way of describing just a poorly made character. I mean, there are plenty out there, like, for example, Dally from Face the Strange. That was a very, very painful piece of work, I may add. Horrible grammar aside, the character was painful. It was a crossover, a Harry Potter crossover. Basically, this author took every single, like every favorite character from just about every fandom that she enjoyed and threw them all into Hogwarts. And her main character, Dally, was obviously a witch. I mean, she wouldn't be at Hogwarts if she wasn't. Uh, she was a vampire, which was pretty much never really mentioned again, actually. She was pretty much mentioned once, and then there was a brief mention of her fangs later, and that's it. Like, it doesn't seem to detriment her at all. It almost seems to be pointless to have in there. And later, she even becomes like a mutant from X-Men. Like, she's given the belts and everything from Mystique. And I was just, what? And Mystique was apparently Dally's mother. And this this diverse fandom had Link from Zelda, um, an appearance of some character, I forgot his name, from the Sookie Stackhouse series. Never read it, so I can't really say accurately anything about it, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that she bastardized the character. Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho, that was very painful for me because he is one of my favorite characters and he was nothing like himself at all. And then Edward from Twilight, that was painful. Well, I'd say it's just painful because Edward was involved. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but I really don't care. There was also Sasuke from Naruto, and Shadow the Hedgehog from Sonic. It was there was even a mention of Animorphs, but all of these characters just they just seem to really love Dally. She really had no outstanding personality to speak of. Um, and she just it was ridiculous. She was like put in Ravenclaw, and it was painful. It was very, very painful. She was impractically endowed with all sorts of attributes, and it's her first year at Hogwarts, so by all rights, by fandom rules, she's 11. And as an 11-year-old, she already had developed breasts, very large breasts, may I add. And she had a sex drive. Like, she and Hiei hooked up in like very early on in the story, and there were all sorts of logic holes, and it was painful. I mean, obviously she's a poorly developed character, and a lot of people would probably call her a Mary Sue. I'm trying to break myself from using that term now because it's been used and abused, so the title is it's basically hollow now. And a lot of people seem to think if you throw the word Mary Sue in someone's review box, they think that's constructive criticism when it's not. You should be considering things like, well, where did they go wrong? What can they do to fix it? Let them know that, because I have met some people out there who just haven't learned enough about character development yet. And they can't learn if you don't tell them how to fix it. If you just throw Mary Sue at them, they're not going to understand. Or worse yet, you might create those annoying fucks who think that everyone who tries to give them any kind of constructive criticism over time is just a hater and a troll, and they're just jealous of their, oh my god, so awesome character. I think I just killed a piece of my soul by talking like that. Anyway, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people in the world who will think automatically anything that they shit out is going to be wonderful and not stink at all. But I also think that by behaving in such a way, by just throwing the term Mary Sue at them and leaving without even giving them any help, is going to lead some people, since most of these authors are young too, is just going to lead them to believe that you're just a troll and that they're doing just fine. If we want to see less of poorly made characters, we should offer constructive criticism and help them figure out where they went wrong so they can fix it. And honestly, you know what? If you want to create a Mary Sue, fine. Far be it from me to judge. But the writing community is not going to take you as seriously. And honestly, whenever I see them, usually it's the ones who are entitled and think that what they've made is pure gold the instant that they shit it out after 5 minutes. It makes me frustrated and very, very angry because one, I, like many writers, spend a lot of time on my characters. I put a lot of thought into them. I make a general personality and their appearance, and I think, why do they act this way? Why do they hold themselves the way they do? Is there any physical scars? What's the story behind those scars? What are their weaknesses? What are their strengths? What are their goals, their motivations? What are their relationships with other people? How do they treat them? All of these things, just for a start, I put a lot of thought into them. And I get so frustrated whenever I see those entitled fucks who have just literally spent maybe 5 minutes on their character by slapping on every positive trait that they can think of and then putting it out there. It's mostly in role plays that I get frustrated like this, but putting it out there and they're like, tee hee, my character's better than yours and I made her in less time. Or him in less time. It feels almost like whenever I get those people, it feels like it's spitting on the work that I've done. And also, a lot of them in the role playing community, if you come across the poorly developed characters and or overpowered characters, have a certain omnipotence. Like, by all rights, there's like a scheme being performed by, say, one of my characters, and their character should not know what's going on, should not be able to spot it, nothing. Yet mystically, they are still able to get like a bad vibe or somehow undermine this person's ability to manipulate the situation when they should not have this ability at all or any kind of foreknowledge. And that's frustrating too. But anyway, there's nothing wrong with escapism and making your own character or making a character that is special. But there comes a point where you don't want to go too much. But guys, we also have to help them fix or help them figure out how to make their characters better if they went wrong and went overboard. I think the term Mary Sue has become outdated, null, and void. Anyway, I've said my piece. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.